Dirt, I'm all about that. Dirt, 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 I'm throwing. Dirt, 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 I miss that. Dirt, 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 gotta get back to I'm a dirt trackaholic, call it what you call it. Saturday night, I am so Kenny Wallace on that. Dirt, 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 I miss that. Dirt, 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 gotta get back to it. I've been the Kenny Wallace of the rap game. Ever since I hit him with that dirt track thing. Now nationwide, everybody knows my name. They're like, mama, that's Kenny Montgomery. He sings that song we like. Yeah, boy, that's me. Roll out the trailer, I'm flossing. Them Hoosier tires glossing. Them cold kind we're tossing. They know I came to wreck it, yet I rarely bring out a caution. I hit the high side, boy, I park it for Brian Clausen.
Welcome to Throttled Up the Podcast. Often imitated, never duplicated. Your weekly home for the best in motorsports coverage.
Even your grandpa talking about, man, that boy too cold. We don't sit on 24s, we don't ride on spinners. I'm posted up on them 15s with platinum dirt defenders. Got kids up in my
And welcome back to Throttled Up the Podcast. Matt back in studio with me.
Out of quarantine jail, man.
Out of COVID jail.
You know, there's been a lot of people been told to stay away from me in my lifetime, but I've never been locked down like that.
Yeah, there's a lot of people who have probably wished for you to be locked down like that. Several of those you've actually locked down
Yeah.
due to their decisions.
Yeah.
And then now you kind of went through it.
Yeah.
Much better
Yeah.
accommodations.
Yeah. COVID put me on house arrest, man, for 14 days.
No ankle bracelet, but locked down.
Yeah.
So, man, glad to have you back in studio with me.
Glad to be back.
I mean, honestly, it's been weird because typically we see each other daily at work. We see each other here every other week, and so it's been a little different not seeing you, not being around you. And I have to start off tonight though with a big congratulations.
Thank you.
Yeah, I had to give you guys some hell when you walked in because I'm over here trying to set up. My phone's buzzing, got people going nuts and wanting all the dirt on you getting engaged.
Yeah. Yeah. Thought we'd try 2021 a little different. So,
Hey, I love it. I love it. And I hate it for Chelsea, but
yeah.
you're a lucky man. You outkicked your coverage. For sure.
Yeah. Kind of overshot there, didn't I?
But no, congratulations, man. We're happy for you and excited to see, the throttled up wedding that's getting ready to come.
Well, you're officiating it, so that's going to be
Oh,
good.
I can't wait. I can't wait. I am ordained.
I know you are.
It's a website, but I have the certificate.
Yeah, we got to get a hold of the cowboy and let him know there's a party coming. So
Absolutely. So outside of the quarantine, man, any other you had big news, but any other news?
I'm learning to play guitar. I needed a hobby because we were home, and PS4 has I wouldn't call it a game, but it's called Rocksmith, and you actually plug a real guitar into your PS4, and it teaches you on there how to play. So that's been my 14-day obsession now. So
That's pretty amazing.
yeah,
That's awesome.
and I've got calluses already from playing, and kind of build at least a 1 hour a day regimen now so that's something I'm trying to get a little better at. Stepped away from our normal things and trying that. So
I love that because our buddy Ryan Bowling and I, we've got this idea. So we needed a guitar player.
Oh,
because we're looking to start a band. We want to play the local bar scene down here.
okay.
But we're only going to learn 2 songs. Okay. We're going to go with Fancy. And
By Reba, huh?
Yeah, Fancy and Bohemian Rhapsody. So we come in, we set all up. We play Fancy, Bohemian Rhapsody, we tear down and we leave.
Well, at least they won't get tired of you for the night's over.
No, I mean,
Yeah, and everybody loves those 2 songs.
yeah, so you're in, you're out.
So yeah.
And I mean, it's with those 2 songs too, it's like a 15-minute gig. I mean, because Bohemian Rhapsody is like 10 minutes long, so you're getting a good solid 15 minutes.
And the other thing with me is I do an hour with the guitar and then an hour with the bass. I'm actually teaching myself two instruments at the same time.
So maybe you could play both.
Yeah, I could play guitar on Fancy and bass on Bohemian Rhapsody.
I think we've got it.
Yeah.
We're going to call the band Didn't Overstay Our Welcome.
I like that.
Then we'll come back in and hang out. And
I kind of like hit it and quit it.
All right, so the name is still in discussion. But we came up with this idea that when we were watching a band at a local bar and they were so bad that it was comical, and we thought, how funny would it be if you literally walked in, played 2 songs, tore down, left, and just came back in and played the jukebox the rest of the night?
But like bring too much stuff.
Oh yeah, we
like
got
five guitars and 2 or 3 basses and a whole bunch of
smoke
lighting.
machine, lighting, the whole setup's got to be huge, like a Kiss performance setup, but 2 songs.
But you need to play Fancy and then take a 10-minute break,
And
come back and do Bohemian Rhapsody, then tear down.
Thanks, guys. Have a good night. So
I'm in.
yeah, I think we've got a plan there. But looking ahead, I've seen a lot of our local guys getting back on what we typically talk about with racing, but signing up for the Bristol Dirt deal. And I got to be honest, I know there's a lot of mixed feelings. I love it. I'm excited about it. I know people disagree with NASCAR, the Cup Series being on it, but I'm glad they're trying something.
I am too.
And I don't think you can honestly continue to hate on NASCAR and say they won't connect with their roots, and then they do this and hate on this too.
Well, I think NASCAR's desperate.
Oh, I do too, 100%.
And they're seeing a lot of their fans are going to the dirt, and this is their desperation call here, and I'm all for it because it's more than what we like anyway.
Absolutely. And the fact that they're putting in late models and some big purses for late models and pure stocks and things down there, it will be an exciting deal for sure. And I'm excited to see some of these guys that are going down there. And I know a lot of our local guys have said, I don't expect to make the show, but it may be the only time in their lifetime that dirt's back on Bristol.
Well, I was there when they did it the first time, and that was the greatest racing I'd ever seen in my lifetime. So I'm definitely would love to go back. I don't know if Brownstown's racing that weekend or not, but if it's not, I guarantee you we'll be in Tennessee. So
100%. I'm in.
Yeah.
So, well, let's take a quick break here to get our first round of sponsors in, and then we're going to dial up a young gun for sure.
Yep.
Mr. Cole Falloway.
Number 66 modified driver.
So let me run our first round of sponsors, and we'll be right back. Electrical work big and small, Gilpin is the one to call. Gilpin Electrical Services can do your small necessary jobs such as wiring lights in your race trailer or adding outlets in your shop. They are also trained in installing whole home backup generators. Don't let a loss of power knock you out of having your car ready for the track this week. With a generator from Gilpin Electric and Generator Services, you'll be able to continue to work right on through the outage. Give them a call today at 812-953-1261 or look them up on Facebook at Gilpin Electric and Generator Services. Don't sit in the dark during the next power outage. See what Gilpin Electric and Generator Services can offer to you. Call them at 812-953-1261. Are you uninsured or underinsured? Do you know what kind of coverage you have? Do you know who to call if something goes wrong? Most of you probably know whether you currently have home, life, or auto insurance, but do you have the right coverage and the right amounts? This is where my family's agent, Tommy Taylor, comes into play. Tommy will take the time to sit down with you and look at your current policy and explain what he can offer and for what price. Tommy's an agent that is going to work for you to get you the best deal and best coverage he can. And when he's not the best option, Tommy's okay with telling you he'd take the other. Give Tommy a call today at 812-346-5664 or email him at thomas.taylor@infb.com. Stop knocking on wood. Call Tommy Taylor today. Is your car damaged? Does it need detailed? Rust spots you've been swearing you're going to take care of? How about those foggy headlights? If this sounds like your daily driver or your project car, give Legacy Paint and Body in Columbus, Indiana a call today. They can take care of all those problems and more. They offer free estimates and are family owned. Give them a call today at 812-799-1344 or look them up on Facebook at Legacy Paint and Body. Again, give them a call today at 812-799-1344. Dirt to Media is your one-stop spot for racing action of all types. They cover Brownstown Speedway, Twin Cities Raceway Park, and Thunder Valley Raceway weekly, with on-demand video available the day after the race is held. Also, for 2020, the crew will be covering historic Salem Speedway live. You can also get all the races with your VIP Dirt to Media membership on demand the day after the race. All of this, along with covering the Burris Southeast Karting Series, Burris Blue-Gray Karting Series, and the American Crate All-Star Series live on their platform. It's time you were a VIP member of the premier location for racing coverage, both live and on demand. So get over to www.dirttomedia.tv and sign up today. P3 Graphics is one of Indiana's premier suppliers for motorsports wraps and apparel. P3 Graphics offers great pricing along with some of the best customer service in the industry. Give them a try on your next project and you won't be sorry. You can contact them via email, phone, or on Facebook on the P3 Graphics page. To find out more, go to www.p3graphics.com. Again, that's www.p3graphics.com. Do you have storm damage to a tree or trees in your yard? A stump from a tree you cut down years ago that's become an eyesore in your yard? A tree that continues to creep over your pool, house, or driveway? Give our friends at Kane's Tree Service a call today for a free estimate on tree trimming, tree removal, or stump removal. They're fully insured and have the experience for any job. Don't continue wishing you'd get those trees or stumps taken care of. Call Kane's Tree Service today at 812-344-5917.
Hey, give Brad at Brad Irwin Customs a call for bodies, interiors, fab work, setup, and consulting. With Brad Irwin Customs, you can stick them deeper. Call him today at 812-216-3900.
And we are back. We're going to give a call here to the young gun, Cole Falloway.
Let's go.
This is our favorite ringtone.
Yes, it is.
There he is, the man himself, Mr. Cole Falloway. How are you, sir?
Good, how are you?
Good, man. I love the backdrop. There's nothing better than throwing the checks up right behind you.
Yeah, they're all over the room.
So, Cole, I'm gonna jump in right here and start, man. And you've been racing in a different form, several different ways for a long time. But what got you into racing?
My dad, my granddad. There's been a few generations before me that's been racing, and I just kind of grew up into it. And I started karts whenever I was 4.
What's it like when you're 4 years old? You know, I've got a 6-year-old and a 2-year-old. So what's it like at 4 years old to go out there and start racing go-karts?
I mean, it was fun. I kind of played some other sports whenever I was younger, and then I kind of had to make that choice once I got a little bit older what I was going to choose to do, and I stuck with racing over everything else.
Was it hard to make that decision, or racing pretty deep in your blood there where you could make
Not
it pretty
really, just because I grew up into it. That's really what I had always done since the beginning. I was always there with my dad whenever he was racing, and then whenever I got started, that's all I really wanted to do.
How long did you race in the go-karts from 4 to what age?
I still, we went back this winter and I ran Batesville. It's in Mississippi. I'm going to go on New Year's. I don't know if I'm going to go race yet, but I'm going to go to Liberty and at least help on New Year's.
So the go-karts are pretty deep in your blood on top of racing modified.
Yeah, the go-kart stuff's fun too. There's a lot of money in go-karts. There's a lot of money up for grabs always. Whenever we went to Batesville, I ran 6 classes, and every one of them, 5 of them paid $3,000 win, and one of them paid $1,000.
Oh my gosh! How'd you do running 6 classes like that?
I ran second to Josh, and one of them he ended up winning it, and then I think I had a couple more fifths. But there was a lot of go-karts there that weekend.
You know, and that's something that a lot of guys that race the bigger cars during the summer have started to jump into. I know the HRW Indoor Nationals that our sponsor, Dirt to Media covers. Derek Groomer was down there the other day. I know even Kenny Wallace talked about he was going to come down there. So several of these guys that race modifieds throughout the year getting in the karts in the indoor season.
Yeah, Tyler nicely ended up getting one. We've been working on his stuff. He's ran the first 2 races there. I've been going and helping him too.
So is it kind of cool to see the guys that you race with in the modified that you can go and race with in the go-karts?
Yeah, it was fun. I went and helped him, and I ended up riding one class, and we ran second in 2 of them and ended up winning the other one.
How much difference is there to transition from the big car to the go-kart again during the winter months?
The biggest thing coming from go-karts going to the big car is just there's so much more movement whenever you get in a mod. Like go-karts, there's no suspension or anything. Just tires are a really big deal on whether your stuff's going to be good or not. And then like mod stuff, there's so much adjustment and so much more movement whenever you get in them.
And when you talk about a guy like Tyler Nicely, how interesting is it when he jumps in a go-kart that you're probably the expert there? And obviously Tyler in a modified, he's got the thing figured out pretty well.
Yeah, it's fun because like he ended up, whenever we went to the north-south this year, me and him went by ourselves, and he ended up helping me all weekend there. And it's fun. Like we can go now and I can kind of tell him what to do where he was telling me what to do whenever we went to the north-south.
That's not a bad partnership to have either.
No.
Anytime you can get Tyler giving you some pointers is a good deal.
Yep. We had a really good weekend that weekend.
You'll have to remind him next year he owes you for the indoor season.
Yeah.
That's what I was going to say. When you was down there at Florence for the North-South, you did really well down there that weekend.
Yeah, we struggled a little bit the first night getting it to how I wanted it, and then we ended up winning on Thursday night, and we were really good Saturday night too, but we kind of got held up at the beginning and then got second at the end of it and ended up running second.
I mean, the straightaways are real long there with some tight corners. I mean, that makes for great racing down there at Florence.
Oh, it was really fun that weekend.
Now, when you made the transition from the karts into the modified, what was it like that first time rolling out on the track?
It was kind of nerve-wracking that first time just because I really didn't know what to expect, but it's just like, I mean, go-karts are the same way. You kind of get nervous whenever you get up there on the grid, but as soon as you get out there, you forget about all of it.
I've heard everybody say that when they're sitting in the lineup chute, like all the nerves kind of overwhelm you. Then when you roll out, it all goes away and you just get focused.
Yeah, you start thinking about all the what ifs, what could happen, but then as soon as you get out there, you just forget about all of it.
So going back to karting days, what were your favorite kart tracks to go run?
I started running the adult stuff whenever I was like 13, so Batesville's always a big one. It's on Thanksgiving every year we go race. It's the O'Reilly Indoor Nationals. We always go to that. And then the Race of Champions race up in Ohio, I ended up winning heavy. It was 4,500 to win. I won it whenever I was 15 with the adults. And that's a really fun one too.
You know, and it is amazing. I know you touched on it earlier, but the payouts in go-karts, I don't think some people who just watch, the Saturday night dirt shows during the summer realize how much money is in go-karts as well.
Oh, yeah, it gets big. Like, whenever you start going to the big shows and stuff, like at the Race Champions race, I think there was 80 or 90 entries in light, medium, and heavy, and it paid $1,500 to win in light, medium, and then $4,500 to win in heavy.
Holy cow.
Yeah, and I had never been around it. We did one of the Burris Blueberry Series shows down in Georgia this year. And when I rolled in and there were full car hauler trailers, just like you would see at a late model show or a modified show, and they're rolling 5-6 carts out of there, I didn't realize it was that intense, but it's there.
It is. Like, way back whenever Sykeston, Missouri, we were going there a lot, and they had the 50,000 there, and there was 51,000, and I was still running junior classes then, and we were racing for 10, 15, 20,000 3 or 4 times a year.
Oh my gosh, that's unreal. How much money, is the average person investing into a go? If he's going to set up a go kart, if Dustin was going to get one for his kid, tomorrow, what would he have to spend?
it just depends. The biggest thing in go-karts is your tires. You get caught up buying more and more tires all the time because, I mean, that's what makes a go-kart fast. That's the biggest thing. Like, you can – it just depends. Like, you can buy somebody out that has pretty good stuff, but then you're still going to get stuck, like refreshing motors and clutches and then getting tires done. You'll end up spending quite a bit of money before you know it.
So it's pretty much as expensive as running your modified then.
I would like your starting price isn't going to be near as expensive as trying to go and buy a good mod or a good motor, but you're going to end up spending some money week in and week out on tires and things like that.
Now, when you jumped in the modified, like at what point, you know, you talked about getting out there the first time, but at what point did you say, okay, I can do this in this big car too?
I don't know. We had that Bandit car that first year, and I was still messing with the go-kart stuff too. I was going go-kart racing weekends, and then I go hop in the mod, and then we ended up getting that new car at the beginning of this year, and I pretty much like just put the go-kart stuff off to the side, and that's what I was going to focus on was the mod. And I mean, we did all right at the beginning, and I was just trying to get used to that new car too. And then we got a win at Brownstown, and then whenever I went to the North-South with Tyler, that boosted my confidence a lot whenever we went out there and won on Thursday night.
Yeah, I mean, obviously we talk a lot on here, our home track being Brownstown, but we say all the time, if you can win at Brownstown, you can win anywhere. And you pick up the win at Brownstown, then go pick up a win at Florence. I don't know that there's two better places to pick up your first two wins than Brownstown and Florence.
Yeah, I mean, we're going to try to hit some bigger races next year, but we had a pretty good year this year. I think we ended up with 8 wins, right around there somewhere.
That's a pretty good 2020, man.
Yeah, it wasn't bad at all, really.
Hey, I got some guys here on the chat wanting to know why you're Country Cole on iRacing.
What, was it Skylar that asked?
Actually, it was DJ that asked. Skylar said, "Don't talk too fast."
We get on there and play iRacing. Sometimes we mess around on there. That's what my nickname is on there.
Why is that? We got to know now.
It's just my accent. They say I talk slow.
Hey, tell them you talk slow, but you're fast on the track. That's all that matters.
Try to be.
So
talking don't win races anyway. So
no, if they did, Zach Burton win every race. Oh boy. But Cole, as you get those confidence boosters with the win at Brownstown, the win at Florence. So as you come into the off season this year, and obviously 2020 was a crazy year, not the year that any of us expected to have or see, but as you start to prepare for 2021, what do you do? What are you doing this off season to be better next year?
We've just been going through everything and replacing stuff on the car, just trying to make sure everything's right before we go out for next year, and just really make sure everything's where it needs to be before we start next year.
And you said you want to attack some bigger shows. What are some that you've got penciled in or you're circling on the calendar to go get after?
I would really like to go to some of those. The Renegade series is going to be really big next year. They got some 10,000 stuff already lined up for the mod. So them, and then I think there's going to be some 10,000s at there's supposed to be a 10,000 at like Peevely and Tri-City and stuff. So hopefully we can go to some of them.
You thought about any travel in the Summer Nationals, next year?
It just gets hard because Dad's always got to be here working and stuff. It's hard to go and leave that long and leave everything here. So
obviously going, with some of those, any interest in, hopefully, if Eldora's back open, to get the mod up to Eldora?
Maybe. I know they used to have the big race for mods there. I wish it was still there, but they moved it. They've been moving it around, so I guess we'll see.
And you talked about your dad and your grandpa, back when we asked you how you got into racing. And when you look back, what are some of those, lessons that you feel like you've learned from them that you really took to heart in how you drive or how you prepare, those kind of things?
I've always been taught, like, you got to work on your own stuff to be good. You can't just not work on your stuff and expect to go do good. And whenever you're racing, just some of the lessons, like, you got to be smooth on the wheel and on gas, stuff like that.
Well, you've definitely got that figured out, man. You've got the smoothness figured out.
Go-karts help a lot with that because that's a big thing in go-karts.
Number 66, where's it come from?
My granddad was number 66, and then my dad was 99 for a while, and then I ended up being 66 again.
That's pretty cool.
I love the family lineage in numbers is huge in racing.
Yes.
That's a cool thing.
Yeah.
So I will ask you this too. Outside of Dad and Grandpa, who's some of those heroes that you really look to in the racing world?
Josh Evans helped me a lot whenever I was growing up. He was always really good in kart stuff around here, and then he started going with us whenever I was probably 7, 8 years old, and then he's been there ever since.
He still goes to the track with you everywhere you guys go?
Yeah, he raced, and then he's still racing now. Like, whenever we go to Batesville and stuff, me and him will race, and then, like, Liberty, I'm going to go help him, and I think Tyler might be racing at Liberty too.
That's pretty cool.
All right, I gotta ask you a totally off the wall question here because you're from Owensboro, Kentucky, right?
Yeah.
Moonlight Barbecue rating on a scale of 1 to 10.
Oh, it's up there. It's good.
Yeah, okay.
Right on. I agree with you there.
All right, I lived in Evansville for a long time, and we made a lot of trips to Owensboro for a little Moonlight Barbecue.
Yeah, it ain't far from my house at all.
All right, next time I get down to Owensboro, I'll give you a call. We can go down there and eat some Moonlight.
Yeah.
So as you start preparing, obviously checking over the car, getting ready, you talk about you mess around on iRacing a little bit. How much stock do you put into iRacing keeping you fresh in the winter?
It just depends. I don't play it as much as I used to. I used to play it a lot, but I've kind of slowed down on it now. We really just get on there to have fun now.
So his safety rating probably isn't up there either, huh?
Yeah, I struggle with my
Mine
safety
ain't
rating.
bad. Whenever dirt stuff first came out, I spent a lot of time on there.
What's your favorite car to run on there?
The mods or the supers for sure.
All right. I can't run a super.
I don't know. I couldn't drive the pure stock or whatever on there.
No, we
That's why I announced, because I can't do anything else. So.
Yeah. It's a good thing it's virtual. No one else wants us in their cars for sure. Maybe when they get the Crown Vics on there, I'll be all right.
No, we won't.
Nah, probably not. So, Cole, where do you hope? I mean, obviously, still young in your racing career. Where do you hope this goes?
I don't really know, honestly. I mean, it takes a lot of money to even get to like a super ride and stuff. So, I mean, we'll just see what happens right now. Hopefully, the next few years can be really good in the mod stuff.
And who's some of those guys? Again, we not like controversy, but who's some of those guys that you love to race against because you love competing with them?
I mean, everybody really. Like, I always like going to the bigger shows is always fun because like you can race against Tyler, Nick, and Krupp and everybody like that are some of the best in the mods right now all across the country. And whenever you can go and run with them, it always makes you feel a lot better about your stuff.
Yeah, when you can compete with that group, Nick and Tyler and all of that group, that's a group that if one of them shows up to the track, put your money on them. If they're all there, it's a toss-up on who's going to take it home.
For sure.
Do you feel yourself pumping yourself up more when they're at the racetrack with you? Like if you know one or all three are there, do you like psych yourself out a little more before you get down the seat, or is it just business as usual?
Not really. I mean, you always want to go out there and give it your all no matter what, no matter who's there.
That's a great answer.
I got to ask you this too, because your mom has to be one of your biggest supporters, man. And I say this, she's unbelievable, but I'm also on the Dirt to Media Facebook messages because I'm part of that group as well. And man, if you're racing somewhere, we get a message to see if we're live. She always wants to make sure that she can not only watch you there, but it's on a video as well. So she's got to be a pretty special lady in your life, man, because she is on top of it.
Yeah, she's really supportive. I mean, everybody around me. My girlfriend Hadley's always like that too. She's always got to be there watching no matter what.
Yeah, it's a cool deal because every time I open it, I see her name and I'm like, I hope we're covering wherever you're racing that weekend.
Yeah.
So it's a cool deal. Go ahead and tell us, who are those people, as we kind of talk there about your mom, who are those people that help you get to the track and those sponsors?
Don Adams Towing for sure. He's a big one. Perfection Lawn Care, Sweetwater Pools and Outdoor Living, Rice Contracting, Laying them Off-Road. I know I'm forgetting somebody.
He's looking for a picture of the car.
Yeah, that's what I'm looking for. There's probably one in here somewhere. Wind Supply, just everybody really. There's so many people like just help out here and there. Charlie and Curtis, Tyler's always there to help me when I need him. Just there's a lot of people that go into it to keep us there every weekend.
Now, what chassis do you guys run?
Elite.
So that I know some people that don't drive those always say if one of those are at the track, they're going to win. I mean, that's probably right now the leading modified chassis going on. Do you feel that way, or?
We've been really good so far. I mean, they're really good whenever the track slows down. Like whenever it starts to get slick, our stuff's always really good.
How do you prefer your track?
I always like it slick. I don't like that hammer down. I don't like that at all.
And I hate to say this to any driver listening that likes it tacky and hammer down, but the best drivers with the most talent always say black and slick.
I always like it way more. I don't like going out there and having to be hard on your stuff and just drive it super hard the whole time.
Well, that probably goes back to the go-kart stuff too, doesn't it? I mean, where you got a lot more finesse.
Most definitely.
Yeah, like Steve Peden, not much talent, so he loves a hard hammer down racetrack. That's why I brought that up. The great drivers always want that black and slick where they can do some things. Hope you're still listening, Steve. Christmas gift should be there soon. So,
what's some of your favorite racetracks to go to and run on?
Brownstown's always fun because it always will get slick by the end of the night. Florence is up there. It's always fun. There's a lot of them. Lawrenceburg, we went there earlier this year. It was really fun, too.
I talked to your mom one night at Brownstown, and that's what she said. She said that you love the place, but your dad couldn't stand it. She said your dad didn't like racing there, but you love racing there.
Yeah, I don't know. He never really had any luck there, I don't think.
And that's an amazing thing in the racing world, too, because there are just certain tracks that drivers just don't have luck at. Like, even if you can say, well, it fits your style, that's their bad luck. So, have you found that bad luck track for you yet?
Not really yet, I don't
Good.
think.
Yeah. Yeah, hope you don't.
Yeah,
I'm sure there will be somewhere that'll be like that down the road.
Now, we watched you race at Ponderosa over this summer, too. What do you think of those little bull rings? Do you like those? Or?
Yeah. We ended up winning a few races there. That place always gets fun.
It's pretty tight out there, isn't it?
Yeah, it ain't very big.
Where would you consider your home track?
I don't know. Cedar Ridge and Windy Hollow and stuff are right here close to home, but we just like to travel more and go to new places. That's like those places are right here close to home, but we really don't go there very often.
That's the really cool thing is, I mean, Owensboro to Brownstown is a haul, and it's really cool that you come up and you race at Brownstown as much as you do.
Yeah, you're there pretty often.
Yeah, it's fun coming there, and it is a couple hours, but it's always fun to race there every time we come.
Well, we appreciate you being there. I'll speak on behalf of everybody. When you show up, you put on a good show, man. So we appreciate you being there.
We try to, anyways.
Sounds like Peden's getting ready to message me. He says he has no words that can be said on the podcast. He's going to message me. Love you, Steve.
For those that don't know, Dustin and Steve really do love each other.
I'm just waiting for certain drivers to get on Give Rev so I can send you some messages, Steve. I'm willing to pay. So,
what's the new tracks you want to hit in 2021 that maybe you haven't raced at yet?
It would be fun to go to like Fairbury and stuff like that, place in Illinois, all the big tracks, like that put on a lot of big shows. All those places like that would be fun to hit.
Fairbury's a great racetrack too. That's a good one.
I got to throw this out too. It's another comment here in the Facebook chat, but our good buddy Adam Stricker says that typically you get drug around by that Watson boy.
Oh, if he says so.
That laugh and comment said everything that needed to be said right there.
There might be a backstory there we might have to delve into.
Well, this is the best part, and when you look at this modified group and talking about, Jordan Weaver and Braden Watson and you, Cole, and there are some young guys that are going to be contenders for the foreseeable
long
future.
Yeah.
Peden also said that you lost your manhood and now you're cracking jokes. So he turned it back around and came after you.
He needs to realize that I have a microphone all summer. And I don't mind telling him that he crashes.
I don't even know where to. Peden can.
Anyway, Cole.
All right, so Cole, I'll ask you this. All across the country, there's a lot of people that are getting ready for Dirt on Bristol here. We talked about it a little bit before we jumped on the phone with you. What do you think it'd be like to run your mod down there at Bristol on the dirt?
It would be fun, but I don't know. I feel like that place is probably going to be hard on equipment whenever they go there. I really feel like it's going to be, but who knows? It might end up getting slick and being good.
It seems like a lot of the big series that travel, they almost request that black and slick track. So, like you said, they might get down there and that might be what shows up there.
Yeah. I always feel like it puts on better race, and I don't enjoy the tacky and hammer down stuff.
Well, again, it makes you drive. I mean, you've got to have throttle control. You've got to be able to pick your lines and find moisture in the track when you need to. When it's tacky, you're hammer down and single file.
Yep, most of the time.
Well, Cole, going into next year, man, what would you say is your number one goal?
Hopefully, I really want to go to some of the big shows and run good against the best guys out there right now. Like, I want to go and be able to run with them, not be off whenever we go race against them guys.
So consistency and competitiveness is really the goal. You want to put your name right up there with those others, saying that when you roll in and unload, you're somebody they're gonna have to deal with every night.
Yeah, that's what we want to try to do, anyways.
I think you're going to get there with that, because I would say at most tracks right now you're a guy that they have to deal with.
We try our best to be.
What do you think the biggest thing during the week as you're prepping for a track to get that consistency?
You always got to go through your stuff and make sure everything's right. You can't go only halfway going through your stuff and not really knowing what you're going with. You got to be able to go through everything and make sure everything's right week in and week out.
So when you guys are home, do you guys like work on the race car every night of the week, or do you just set aside?
Whenever we get going during the summer, we'll be working on it most nights of the week.
Because you guys are pretty active once you get to the racetrack. You guys do a whole lot at the track once you get there. It seems like, you guys are a bunch of worker bees over constantly working on the car.
Yeah, I mean, you can't go and not knowing if your stuff's right. If you do that, you're just asking for something to go wrong whenever you get there.
That's a great mindset to have.
Well, Cole, I'm going to throw this out here, man, because we're going to wrap up here with you and let you get ready for your Christmas holiday, man. And we appreciate you being on here. But I want to say this. I know Matt said it earlier too, but for us up here, again, I know it's a drive for you to get to Brownstown, but we truly appreciate you making that drive and coming up here because you put on one heck of a show here. No matter what Stricker and some of these other guys say. We appreciate it, man. We appreciate getting the chance to talk to you. We hope to have you on again sometime and have you possibly here in studio sometime. But man, we appreciate you and we're excited about seeing where you go because again, I think that's the most exciting thing for me when I look at that modified class is there's some young guys that are going to be racing for the next 20, 30 years and competing at a high level.
Yeah.
I agree.
Thanks for having me on here. It'd be fun to get back on here and talk to you guys sometime. And yeah, it is cool because there's a lot of young people right now in the mod stuff that's trying to work their way up.
I'm glad to hear you guys are going to travel around to other racetracks, but I hope you do make some room to come up and see us at Brownstown. Like I said, we all look forward to seeing you.
I'm sure we will, especially the big races, the Icebreaker and Jackson. We'll always come to them, I'm sure.
Awesome.
Well, hey, Cole, man, have a great Christmas and a Happy New Year. And, again, we appreciate you, and thanks for stopping by and chatting with us.
Y'all as well. Thank you for having me.
All right, man. Have a good one.
You too.
So, man, I'm going to go right here with that. I'm blown away not only by the talent in the race car, but when we start talking about the Jordan Weavers, the Braden Watsons, the Adam Strickers even, a little bit older out of that age group, but not incredibly older. And Cole, like, not only are these guys extremely talented sitting in the seat, but the way they carry themselves, you know, the respect that they have for this sport. I know, again, and this isn't even me going on an old joke on you, but you're our historian here and the one that the classic racing. But when you talk about some of those unwritten rules of racing and kind of how you carry yourself, these guys are the next generation of impressive.
Well, they're totally marketable. I mean, any company would, you know, when they would sit down and talk to these young guys, everyone that you listed would not be ashamed to say, I'm going to put my company on the side of that race car because they, like you said, they present themselves very professional. You know, they talk older than they really are. You know, I don't know who in life has told them this is how you present yourself, but they have done a great job at that. All of those boys have done a great job at that.
No, and I laugh because we're not going to get into those stories now, but I think back to you and I have had several conversations off the air, but how we were at their age.
I couldn't have done this interview right here. I'll tell you that right now. I was
that would not have been good for anybody.
No.
But I think the most impressive thing, and again, for anybody, those young kids that want to get into racing, want to find a way to break in, or, you know, want that opportunity, the common theme with all these guys is working on their own stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Like, especially in the dirt world, trying to find a late model ride, you know, so the idea of just being a shoe and you show up and just jump in and race, that is far seldom from you've got to be the grinder that works. And that's what I love about these young guys is that, I mean, that's really their focus is how do we work on our car? How do we get better? How do we learn? I mean, again, you know, we joked with him, but the kid is going around with Tyler Nicely, helping Tyler Nicely, you know, in a go-kart, knowing that that's going to pay dividends when summer rolls back around.
Yeah. And, you know, that's just going to make him better. And him racing the go-kart all winter, I think, is only going to make him more smooth in the modified, but like you said, when summertime rolls around.
Yeah, these guys really, really impress me. And it excites me about the future of our sport because, again, I think it's easy for dirt fans, and we've talked about it before, to get negative about our sport and it's a dying sport and all these things are happening. But you look at these guys, and these are going to be the flag carriers, man, for this sport for the foreseeable future. And I got to say that I think we're in a really, really good spot.
You know, I am going to say I think there are some forms of motorsports that I won't say is dying, but it's getting a little lackluster. And, I think NASCAR is one of those sports that it's not the hype that it was. And, if chicken wing bowling was here, I'm sure we'd get an argument out of that. But with NASCAR going to Bristol with the dirt on it, I think, like I said, that's their cry for help. But when you guys have guys across the country like Cole and Braden, Jordan Weaver and those guys, I mean, that just shows that our sport is, we got some livelihood in it still that I think we can go for. I think we'll go the rest of my lifetime. It's just going to keep growing.
Yeah, and I go back to, looking at NASCAR, and I'm not going to give NASCAR credit for this because they didn't do it. I'll give Chase Briscoe and what he's done and Tony Stewart credit for it. But finally, a guy who went and swept floors for free and just found any way to get into a NASCAR shop in North Carolina and get an opportunity has made it.
Yes.
The Tony Stewart story has come back around again. The Jeff Gordon story. These guys that they went and did what they could. Everybody's heard the stories of Stewart walking down pit roads with a helmet and his driving suit on, just saying, "Let me get in the seat. Let me get in the seat."
I don't know if I would put Jeff Gordon in that category. I think I'd actually leave him out of that.
That's probably true because he did have a lot of backing. They moved him in here.
I would put Carl Edwards in that. He's the guy that walked around with a business card.
That is true.
That said
Very good point.
Carl Edwards, race car driver. So I would, but I don't think I'd put in. I'm a Jeff Gordon fan, but he, I don't think he went to the extent that Tony and Chase had to go to get in the seat.
And that's what I love about these young guys. I think that's what NASCAR has to realize is, and don't get me wrong, I get it with the corporate sponsors and everything. You still have to be marketable. You have to look the right way.
But these guys are.
But those guys, that's exactly what I was going to say. Chase Briscoe has that look and has grinded and worked his way to get to where he is.
Yes.
These guys have it too. And NASCAR, if you're going to take a poll on what you need, it's these young guys running your sport.
I agree. And, they show they can talk. They can do an interview. They can be very professional. When I was a kid, I mean, not to bash none of my heroes on the track when I was a kid, but they didn't know how to do that.
No.
They showed up on Saturday, raced, and had a good time. It was nothing about, let's market it and, let's be professional. That come years later.
Yeah, and again, I know some people will knock that, and I do miss the Jimmy Spencers and the guys that had zero care about anything, but I understand in today's world that a corporate sponsor has to protect their brand, has to protect their name, and you want that guy that's right for it. But that's the thing; these guys exist, and they can also be human beings. That's the part I think NASCAR lost for a while, and I'm going to go back to and give a ton of credit to Kyle Larson. And again, I got to go to Indiana Midget Week at Lawrenceburg and watch him, and I happened to be there with Josh Moffitt, and we're sitting there and the sprint cars are qualifying, and I look over, I'm in the pit grandstands, and about 4 people down from me, Kyle Larson's sitting there. He's gone through all the controversy. If you would think he would be hiding in his hauler or wrenching on his car getting ready, and he's sitting there in the stands watching those sprint cars qualify.
That's because he's a race
and
fan.
Get ready. Absolutely. That's a guy that, again, works on his stuff, does it the right way, doesn't hide from things. Those guys are out there, and that's what I hope NASCAR starts to see it again.
They did. That's why he's coming back.
And I give him credit. I mean, because Hendricks, I will give you a ton of credit. I know Tony tried and Ford said no, but I will give Chevy and Hendricks a ton of credit for giving him that opportunity to come back, because those guys are what this sport needs.
I agree.
That is because, I just look back to who my heroes were, and, the amount of kids that got to go up and just say hi to Kyle Larson, to give him a fist bump. Those are life-changing things for these kids, and it's a cool deal. And I'm excited to see as these young guys come up. I am positive about NASCAR because I think Chase Briscoe is going to change the Cup Series, but in a way that you can be that dirt guy, and I hope teams go find the next Chase Briscoes.
Well, I'm just going to say this. Anybody with a company that wants to spend a little money, find somebody racing a local track, because there is some unforeseen talent that people are overlooking racing at any local track that they're at right there. You know, we got a ton of it at Brownstown that I wish more people would see the type of talent that shows up in races every week there.
And I agree, and I think some businesses miss on the fact, and again, kudos to these young guys, because you and I have talked about this before at the Brownstown Banquet every year. Get up and thank your guys, your sponsors, and who helps you get there. You find the right person, they will push you and your service, your product, your company well beyond. And again, and I slam him all the time, and he's probably already logged off because he's probably typing the hateful message to me. But Steve Peaton's one of those guys that he will push his sponsors and make sure people know about him and make sure people are aware of him. Those guys are out there too. And again, I agree with you. Instead of, not to hate on, radio or something, instead of running that newspaper ad, instead of running that radio ad, take that $1,000 you're going to spend on it and put it in a car that, I'm telling you, you will get people to your business just because you support racing.
I'm going to go back to what you said about the banquet. Jeff Wilson, a very seasoned race car driver, gave some great advice a few years ago at the race car banquet, and that is, banquet night isn't your night. That's your sponsor night. That's the night they should get recognition, and because without that money coming in, they wouldn't have got to race. And they needed to, we got a banquet coming up, 3 weeks? 3.5 weeks? And, take a little bit of time to thank somebody. Not all of them if you don't want to, but, everybody walks past that microphone because they're so scared. But I think that would pay dividends that, I'm going to take the time to acknowledge some people.
And I want to touch on that too. I don't care if you're running a Hornet and you got one name on the car. That's it.
That's your support.
And I don't care if it's not even a sponsor. I don't care if it's Mama. Stop at that mic and thank Mama.
Yeah.
And take a minute or two to do it. And what I mean by that is, sometimes I think that some drivers don't realize how many sponsors are in the room, because some of those seasoned guys realize, let's buy them a banquet ticket and bring them with us, get them a meal. We all know that Pewter Hall's cooking some of the best in the surrounding area. Get them a meal, take them out for the night. You thanking the one person on your car, I think sometimes people don't realize how much that'll go to a sponsor.
Well, how many times have we touched base, and our guests have touched base, the wife or the girlfriend that lets them spend 5 and 6 nights a week out in the garage until 10 or 11 o'clock at night? At least thank them, because they're sitting there. 5 seconds. Hey, I want to thank, insert name, and that would go miles. And okay, yeah, he stayed till midnight 3 nights this week, but he appreciates me.
Yeah, you may have that one guy that bought you a set of tires and you put a sticker on his car. You stop and say thank you. The guy sitting there with deeper pockets is going to say, damn.
Yeah.
He appreciated a set of tires so much that he made sure to thank him. I want to throw him some cash next year. That's what you got to realize and I know some local drivers don't want to hear this, but even on the local level, it's become a business. You are your own entity in business.
Yes.
And you are a marketing entity that you're promoting these companies, and you need to do that. It's huge. And again, just can't say enough about how impressed I am with these young guys.
I am too. Like I said, I don't know who has taught these young guys to present themselves that way, but it is refreshing and just impressive that all of them do such a great, they'll laugh and joke, but, they got their eyes on the prize, and they're very good at it.
All right, Matt. Well, we're going to wrap up here, and I want to again say congratulations.
Thank you.
I mean it. You outkicked your coverage. I could not be happier for you both.
Well, I appreciate that.
because I really enjoy Chelsea. So I'm glad that she's going to be around for the foreseeable future. To be honest, I probably like her better than you.
I figured that,
So I'm really glad that we took care of that.
That's what makes our friendship so strong, though.
We can be honest.
Yeah.
We can be honest.
We don't pull punches.
Yeah. See, Steve struggles with that. He struggles with my honesty.
Well, I don't understand why you're mean to him and then he lashes out at me.
There's a lot of confusion there.
Yeah, that's
when you spin as many times as he has this year, it'll cause that confusion.
Brain swelling.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
If he learned not to wreck when he goes into turn one, then things wouldn't happen like that.
So
you brought me into this thing, Steve. Okay.
Hey, we want to wish everybody a Merry Christmas, Happy New Year. We'll be back in 2 weeks.
Yeah. Hey, the thing is, I've had it, so I can't catch it.
Yeah, you're free.
Yeah. It's like walking around with armor on now. I've already got it.
I'm good. But yeah, Merry Christmas, Happy New Year to everybody. Again, we appreciate everybody that supported us throughout this year. Our numbers have really jumped this year, and I can't thank people enough for supporting us, watching, listening. However you devour this podcast.
Hey, if you see it at a racetrack over the summer, let us know how you like the show or things you'd like to see us do different. Outside of Steve, we ain't gonna listen to his opinion, but
so thank you to everybody, and again, we'll be back and better than ever in 2021.
Right on.
P3 Graphics is one of Indiana's premier suppliers for motorsports wraps and apparel. P3 Graphics offers great pricing along with some of the best customer service in the industry. Give them a try on your next project and you won't be sorry. You can contact them via email, phone, or on Facebook on the P3 Graphics page. To find out more, go to www.p3graphics.com. Again, that's www.p3graphics.com.
Do you have storm damage to a tree or trees in your yard? A stump from a tree you cut down years ago that's become an eyesore in your yard? A tree that continues to creep over your pool, house, or driveway? Give our friends at Kane's Tree Service a call today for a free estimate on tree trimming, tree removal, or stump removal. They're fully insured and have the experience for any job. Don't continue wishing you'd get those trees or stumps taken care of. Call Kane's Tree Service today at 812-344-5917.
Hey, give Brad at Brad Irwin Customs a call for bodies, interiors, fab work, setup, and consulting. With Brad Irwin Customs, you can stick them deeper. Call him today at 812-216-3900.